Hi guys, the purpose of this video is just to walk you through the syllabus. If you are going to read the syllabus cover to cover and you don't want to hear any kind of verbal explanation of anything in the syllabus, then you do not really need to watch this video. But if you are just kind of wanting me to hit the highlights, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to talk about the most important things found in the syllabus. Also, this video is covering all three of my English 112 sections for this semester, so your syllabus might say slightly different information in a couple of places. One, in the section title, I'm teaching MST1, MST3, and SSB some number. And so depending on which section you're in, you'll see a different little identifier here. Additionally, depending on which section you're in, you will see a different synchronous time. So please refer to your syllabus. This video is for all my 112 classes, but I want you to refer to your syllabus to find your synchronous time, and you will also find that in the LMS posted on day 1. So please make sure that you don't just go off this video for when you're meeting, because 1/3 of you will be at the right place and 2/3 of you will be in the wrong place. English 112 is not writing an inquiry, so I'm gonna have to change this. English 112 is research-based writing. I'm gonna fix that in a minute. We essentially are writing bigger papers, longer papers, and we're fueling them with research and really complex argumentative writing. English 111 is a precursor to this, and your census date is August 27th. That just means that before you can do, that means to remain in the course, you need to have completed the mandatory enrollment activity before August 27th. You guys will also have to do the course enrollment agreement, or the course agreement. Basically, it's like, do you agree, or do you understand that I'm recording synchronous sessions, which is a requirement that I have to do, and do you understand that you will have access to those recorded sessions, but you cannot distribute them outside of this class? If you answer no to either of those questions, it's fine. You're just going to end up hearing from me, not in a mean way, just in like a, hey, what's up? Do you need to get out of this class? What else do I want to say? Yes, you will not be able to see any coursework until you do both of those things. So make sure you do them right away. You can always send me an email. That's the #1 best way to get in touch with me, is to send me an email, because I am 100% virtual right now. I will not be going to campus to meet with anyone. I might go to campus sometimes just to be there, but I'm not having any kind of meetings. If you want, you can try to call me. However, I don't like talking on the phone. I don't even like answering my office phone. I'm supposed to check my voicemail, but honestly, I'm probably not going to because it's just stressful. Please just email me. So much better way to get in touch with me. If your email's not working, then you can call me. Okay. And then keep trying to get your email to work, because that's a problem. I will probably email you back right away within a couple hours. At the very most, furthest out would be 24 hours. On the weekends, I'm probably not going to check my email. Honestly, all that means for you is that if you have a question about an assignment due on Sunday, you need to ask me by Thursday, which means you cannot wait until Sunday to log into the LMS to check it. Y'all, this class is complicated. This class is, most of my students say this is one of the most challenging English classes that they've taken. I think it's worth it, and I think they think it's worth it when they're done with it. But it's not easy, so you cannot wait until the last minute to do your work, which means you cannot wait until the last minute to ask me questions. Okay. My office is in Statesville, 3rd floor. If you have a need to meet virtually, just let me know. Send me an email and we can meet by appointment. I'm going to skip some stuff that's boring. Okay, so how do you be successful in this class? Here's my recommendations. Approach the assignments with like a positive mindset, because the minute you tell yourself you can't do this, you're going to stress out. And stress makes this class hard. Say like, it might be hard and you might struggle through it, but like you can do it, okay? Because I've I've walked so many people through that mindset. You can do it. Check your schedule weekly and come to every class period. So all of our synchronous meetings, yes, they're not required. Like, no, they're not required. Yes, they are optional, but if you come to them, you're going to be more successful than if you don't. At the very least, if you should watch them when they're done, and not completely ignore them, please and thank you. Most of the learning in this class is done based on Q&A. All right. Email me when you have questions. Even if you think it's a stupid question, I want you to email me anyway. Even if you're like, no, if you write out an email to me asking me a question, unless you have found the answer before you hit send. Or unless you're like being a jerk, don't hit send. Students who are most successful complete all the activities, whether or not they're graded, do the readings that I tell you to do, etc. You need to know how to use a computer and probably solve some problems. Okay, let's talk about the books. So, this is our course text, The Little Seagull. And I'm referencing this part right here, okay. It's the Little Seagull Handbook with exercises. It's our course text. I reference it a lot in class. I'll ask you to do some readings out of it. It will help you with MLA format. It will help you with... well, it used to be able to help you with APA and it won't now, but it will help you with MLA format, paragraph writing, research, things like that. I get it. If you have this from English 111, that's great. You got what you need. If you do not have it, the bookstore, or if you're like buying your books and you notice, the bookstore is selling this book with a bundle. Okay, so you're going to find now in the bookstore only copies in plastic wrap that have this supplement. It is the APA Style Guide Norton supplement, okay? This book is just published with the new, it's not even a new edition. This is not a new edition, okay? This is the same 3rd edition. This is just slipped into the course pack for this class. It's helpful if you have it. If you do not, like let's say you already had this from English 111 last semester. Do not buy the bundle just so that you can get this purple thing. They won't sell it to you separate, but don't buy the bundle just for this purple book if you already have the Little Seagull, okay? You can find the purple book stuff online for free. You don't need it, but it's helpful, okay? If you don't have the Little Seagull already, buy the bundle. You'll save yourself a little bit of time looking stuff up online. But if you want to save yourself some money and you already have the Little Seagull, don't buy this all over again. The bookstore is just trying to cheat you out of your money. And probably it's not even the bookstore. It's probably Norton, the publishers, because publishers are notoriously trying to get every penny they can. Also, you will notice that A Student's Guide to Writing the 3rd edition 2020 is, it's interesting, is here in our required materials. I probably won't reference it in this class, but there will be a free PDF link or download in the LMS that you can have access to, so you don't really need to buy this because you already have it. Yeah, it's a required book, but it's a PDF in the LMS, so you already have access to it. You need Google Chrome web browser because that's what works the best with our synchronous course. For this thing called Collaborate, it's straight in the LMS, but you need to have that. So if you don't already have Google Chrome, please get it. It's just a web browser. You download it. It's free. You need access to a computer. I don't know why this is suggested. It's like definitely required. You need to have access to a computer. You need some kind of computing software, and you should probably be able to figure out how to take notes effectively in a virtual format. Let's see what else. Alright, so here are the assignments that we are doing this semester. I never change English 112 with a few exceptions, and I think it works really well. This is my favorite class to teach. You guys will get the best of me. If you took 111 with me last semester and you're like, yeah, she was alright. Like, I'm great in 112. 111, meh, I'm not great in. But 112, it's alright. So, we are doing an entire unit focusing on MLA. We are going to analyze a profession or a job or a career depicted on a movie or TV, and we're going to talk about is that accurate or not. So, you could think about, like, Grey's Anatomy. the most overdone example in this course. Is Meredith Gray's job as a surgeon an accurate portrayal of what it's really like to be a surgeon? That's the type of questions we're asking in the first project. We are going to do an annotated bibliography. You'll write me a little bit of a draft, and then you'll do a final paper. Second half of the semester, we are focusing on APA, and our focus on APA is the psychology of social media, and you're going to do a case study. We have so much good content this year because of how much time people spend online these days due to the shutdown and everything like that. So the psychology of social media is essentially where you're going to pick something that is talked about on social media. It can be talked about elsewhere, but definitely heavily talked about in social media. And you're not going to analyze the topic, you're going to analyze the people and the users and social media in general. This is the most complicated project. I get the report that my students have a really hard time with it. So figuring it out early on is important, but we're not going to talk about it until like halfway through the semester. So just be mindful of what you see on social media, and maybe you want to talk about it. Throughout the course from week 1 till the end, you will be working on your own individual scholarly article project. All that is picking a scholarly article that you think is interesting, something you want to read, your personal research. It's not tied to the MLA or the APA units. It's a personal thing. You pick an article and you just work through a project with that article. It's actually really simple, and you could probably do it in a day, but there's 5 different chunks and deadlines so that you can space it out. I go over it, I think, in week 2, really early on, and it's not due until the final. I also have a grade that's 20 questions. So throughout the course of this semester, I'm going to ask that you ask me 20 questions. 20 questions can be asked through discussion forums. You'll find them weekly in the LMS. They can also be asked through our synchronous course sessions. And the reason I have this is because I find that the most learning comes through asking questions, because in order to ask a good question, you have to have engaged with the material in a way that goes beyond just reading it. You have to have thought about it. And so when you're asking questions about the material and about the projects and about the lectures and the topics and the course packs and all of that stuff, then you are really engaging with the content, and that's how you learn, is when you engage with the content. So I use questions to fuel learning in this class. And then we will have a final exam. It is a test, mostly multiple choice, maybe a little bit of fill in the blank, or short answer type stuff. It's on MLA and APA. It's purely 100% open book, open notes, open internet browsers, whatever. You gotta tell me that you know how to do MLA and APA, or at the very least you know how to find resources to do MLA and APA. Grading scale hasn't changed. If you get a D, you don't get credit on your transcript. How do I explain this? If you get a D, you would have to take this class again in order to get credit for English 112. If that makes sense. Okay, what else do I want to tell you guys about? Everything's going to be due on Sunday at midnight, 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to be exact, in case you live in California. Turn everything in the LMS. Don't give me Google Drive links. Don't give me OneDrive files. Don't give me Pages documents. I can't look at Pages, and I don't want to see links because you can edit those after the fact. If your file is corrupted, if your file is wrong when you turn it in, I'm not going to email you. I'm just going to give you a 0 because you need to make sure that you're submitting the correct file. If you keep a copy of everything. Very real. I have had students tell me they have turned something in and I do not have any record of them turning something in. And they had one of 2 options. They rewrite the paper, they get a 0. So keep a copy of everything you do in this class until you get your grade on your transcript, and you can throw it away. I don't know what missed work is. To me, missed work is late work. If you missed it, it's late, right? I don't take late work, but I do handle it on a case-by-case basis. So that's That's stupid. That's not what I mean. I will take late work, but it's handled on a case-by-case basis. If you need to turn something in late, you have to email me before the deadline. If any one individual or the class as a whole begins to take advantage of this policy, I will take it away from everyone. So only ask for late work when you truly need it, and be genuine about needing that late work. Do not be like me. I'm a procrastinator. You can be a procrastinator, but get your work turned in on time. If I start getting consistent, I need to turn this in 3 days late, and it gets overwhelming, I'm shutting that down for everyone. So only use it if you absolutely need it. I think I talked about that already. Feedback, grading stuff. These papers are long and they're really big. It's going to take me 2 weeks to grade any paper. It's going to take me at least 1 week to grade anything like your annotated bibliography, your extended bibliography, your discussion handouts. Scholarly article project stuff gets graded pretty quickly because you need my approval in order to move on, especially with the first 2 deadlines. So max 2 weeks, but sometimes 3. I don't put that in there because it's kind of frowned upon, but sometimes it'll take me 3 weeks to get those MLA papers back to you guys, and I apologize for that. It just takes me a long time to grade them because they're like 10 pages long. I think I talked about everything else. Oh, I didn't talk about this, but you guys, sometimes if you send me an email and it doesn't have a question or it doesn't seem like you need a response from me, I'm just gonna like it. There's a little thumbs up in the corner and I'm gonna click on that and I'm not gonna respond. If you need me to respond to something, please make it very clear. Even if you're just saying like, oh, hey, here's that info you wanted. If you want me to respond to that with a thank you, just be like, let me know you got it. That's all you have to do. Otherwise, I'm just gonna like it. I don't think people like that very much, but it's what I do. Okay, attendance expectations. So, you guys, last semester, if you took English 111 here at Mitchell, we did not have an attendance policy. You could just come and go as you please. As long as you turn your work in and you pass the class, you're good to go. That is not the case anymore. Attendance is taken now at Mitchell, and the rule is that if you miss 2 consecutive weeks of class, you will be dropped for non-attendance. Consecutive meaning back to back. It's not cumulative, it's consecutive. Okay, so in our class, because we are we're 100% virtual, but we do have synchronous sessions, what can you do in order to make sure that you've attended that week? As long as you check one of these boxes every single week, you will have made sure that you've attended a class that week. So you can complete an assignment. If an assignment is due that week, you can turn it in. If assignment is due next week, but you have access to turn it in week whatever, you can turn it in that week. You can participate in a synchronous class activity, aka you can come to the synchronous session. You can participate in a discussion forum. If you don't want to be in that synchronous session, if that synchronous session doesn't fit in with your schedule, because those are optional, you can simply post what you need to post in the discussion forum for that week. You're good to go. Alternatively, you can also have a conference with me. So if you missed, maybe you missed week 3, and you don't know what to do for week 4 because you feel behind, but if in week 4 you have a conference with me, like we meet virtually, in a space, that would count as attendance as well. Okay. Skipping a lot of this stuff. What happens if you don't attend for 2 weeks? Did I say this already? I drop you from the class. I have been told that this is not an optional policy. It's not like I can drop you from the class. It is I have to drop you from the class. So if you miss 2 weeks in a row, I file the papers on Monday to drop you from the class. You can withdraw at any point if the class isn't working for you. Otherwise, I just want to talk about the plagiarism policy. The reality is that unless you steal someone else's paper from a different section that I've taught. Most of my assignments are very, very unique to my class, and you probably will not be able to plagiarize or even self-plagiarize any of your work, because I doubt that I'm sure it's possible, but for the most part, I doubt that you've been asked to do what I'm going to ask you to do this semester. However, just as it goes, plagiarism is copying someone else's work without giving them proper credit and documentation. Self-plagiarism is using an essay you got credit for in a previous class on one of my assignments. So don't do that either. Or using anything you got credit for in a previous class on one of my assignments. Otherwise, you can find the course schedule on the syllabus, or even better, you can find it linked in the LMS. If you guys have any questions about the syllabus, please let me know. I'm happy to answer them. And again, just remember, I went over this across all 3 sections, so your syllabus that's in your LMS is specific to your class regarding synchronous class meeting times. All right, email me if you need me.